Hello, what I got here today is this Alesis Q49 MIDI controller, which is a compact keyboard with two wheels, one slider and three buttons. These two buttons to shift octaves up and down, and this MIDI select button turns the keys into feature selection keys with features written above them. So this is just to save on the space and cost on the dedicated buttons. So it's a very simple thing, and here on the back we have sustain pedal jack and regular MIDI out, USB and the power. And I got this thing really cheap because it doesn't work as it was described. So let's have a look. So I connected the thing to a USB port, and indeed nothing happens. So these buttons should light up when pressed, and they don't. And here is a terminal in my Ubuntu Linux where I gave it ls USB command to see all the USB devices, and it's not in the list. So while I was playing with this thing, I noticed that I move this USB jack back and forth. Sometimes pay attention to this MIDI select button, it does light up sometimes, and the jack looks like a little loose. So it seems to me that it has USB port broken. So my next idea is to check it without USB, using the regular MIDI out and the power adapter. So we need a 9-volt DC adapter with positive in the center and which fits in here. I'll check what I have. I went through my pile of adapters I have here, and I found this one. 9 volts, 2500 milliamps, which is way more than necessary. Positive is in the center, and the connector fits the keyboard. I checked. So this must be a switch mode regulated supply, because it's light and it doesn't care about the input voltage from 100 to 240 volts. But this is not important in this case. All that matters is the right voltage, enough current, and suitable connector. Let's give it a try. Alright, I plugged it in, and look at this. It seems to work on the first glance. And how do we make sure? Here I have this USB to MIDI cable, and let's see, this is MIDI in. It's marked here. I'm not sure if it's visible on camera. This is MIDI out, and this is MIDI in, which goes to MIDI out of the keyboard. So let's connect it to the computer and have a look. Okay, I connected it, and we use only one connector in this case. And have a look. When I press the keys, this MIDI in LED is blinking, which is a great sign. I started a piece of software called QSynth, and have a look at this. It seems to work just fine. So it can be used like this instead of USB, with the external power supply and this external MIDI to USB converter. But fixing a broken connector should be a simple thing, and we can have a look at the internals of this keyboard at the same time. So let's go. So we are in, and there is a little board with connectors. So I need to remove that board and we'll see what's up with the connector. Here is the board with connectors. Let's have a closer look. So the connector looks fine on the first glance. And look at this. So ideally mechanical stress should be on these two big pads where the shield and outer shell of this connector is soldered, but it can flex just a little bit. Not sure if you can see it, and some of the stress can go to these four small pads, and what I think could happen is that connection between the pad and the rest of the trace can be broken just near the pad. So let's test that. Okay, so the multimeter is in the connectivity test mode. Let me zoom in on the board. So that's probably maximum I can get. So these are 4 pads from the USB connector, and this big pad must be ground. Let's test that first. Yes, it works. So this bigger trace is power, obviously, and there is no connection here. And there are 2 smaller ones with USB signal. This should go to here, and there is no connection. And this should go to here, and nothing here as well. So how can this happen? Perhaps someone tripped on USB cable or something like that. There was big mechanical stress in the connector, and those pads are broke from the traces. So let me see how can I repair this. So here I have this roll of very thin wire, which is perfect for such repairs. I can run this wire from a pad along the trace for some length to make sure it doesn't break again. This should work beautifully. Alright, here is the result. So I scraped off the mask from these traces for some length, as I said, and run the wires along the trace and here. And I did it for the ground one as well, which worked, but just in case I reinforced it here. And then I tested from these pins right in the connector to this connector, and all 4 connections work now. So let's put it back together and let's have a brief look, because we can. So this is the main board, the microcontroller doing all the magic. So this is the jack for sustain pedal, and this is the connector for that board we repaired. Here is the board for the slider, and this is another board for these 3 buttons and LEDs for them. And these are 2 wheels. Okay, that's very simple. It's back together and connected to USB only, and it works. And I try to move USB a little, and it still works. So seems like I fixed it. So here is how we change instruments. So that's instrument 6, and we go back, and here we are, instrument 6. Alright, no problem at all. Thanks for watching. Bye.